Good evening, everybody. It's an honor and a pleasure to start this very first council meeting as mayor for myself, and I'm thrilled to be here with a great city council beside me. C'est un plaisir et j'ai plein confiance dans le mandat qui est en avant de nous, un 4 ans qui va être rempli avec des accomplissements pour la ville de Côte Saint-Luc. On a certainement des choses à faire. On a beaucoup de travail à faire. We have a lot of work ahead of us. And it's an honor and a pleasure to see all of my friends, supporters, family that have come out and the family and friends of my council. We're in for a good 4 years. I wanted to say that unity does not mean uniformity. And we're here to do good and to do good work together. We're going to find common ground on almost everything, I am certain. And we're going to do good work together. Alors, on va peut-être pas s'entendre sur tous les points, mais on va faire du bon travail ensemble. J'ai déjà parlé à mon conseil. J'ai de la confiance qu'on va trouver un bon sentier ensemble pour les citoyens de Côte Saint-Luc ensemble. I'm looking forward to an amazing 4 years. I want to thank you all, and here we go. Let's start the ride. Alors, I'm sorry. I want to recognize Dita Burku, former city councilor, who's here with us. And I can't forget Glenn Nashin, former city councilor, who's also with us here today. I definitely also want to thank all the staff that's here that have been great in onboarding me, people that I've worked with, people that have worked, with in different levels. And I just want to thank you all for being here. Your support in the past few days has been tremendous and appreciated. So, avec ça, on commence notre premier conseil de Côte Saint-Luc. So the first order of business, and I apologize for some of my, first steps. So we're going to pass, the first things we do, we approve the agenda. Is that correct? So, oh. No? Okay. We adopt the agenda first. Yeah. So to adopt the agenda, the first order is Mike. Seconder. So with the adopted agenda, we can move forward to the first question period. So I have a series of questions. Oh, sorry. We have to vote. All in favor? Thank you. All right. And so now moving on to question period. I have questions here. If you haven't filled in a note at the back, you can put your name and address and hand it to the VCOPs at the back. And I want to thank the VCOPs for their presence here today. So first question is Judy Aroche. Can I get that? Hakshi, I'm sorry, Judy Hakshi. I apologize.
I hope you have at least as much joy and less pain than our family did when we had our son's bris in this room. So my question, I think I'm supposed to say my address. First-time callers, my first question actually, ever, living here for 30 years, 6548 Mackle Road. I'm here because we live in the beautiful Cambridge Court East Condo Association right over there. And all of a sudden one morning we woke up to a prison fence being installed on the outskirts of our condo. Turns out that Ashkelon Park, which is a beautiful park that we look at all the time, and you can see I'm very invested in this community. I had my wedding photos there. So I now see that we are going to be blocked off with this prison fence from Ashkelon Gardens. We don't understand why. We spoke to our counselor about it, and he told us some sort of a rumor about people were dumping things in there. Maybe some people who live there, maybe some contractors. Our condo association knows nothing about it. None of the people who live there know anything about it. I don't think that we were ever spoken to. I don't think our contractor was ever spoken to. So we would like it removed because it is an eyesore. It is quite ugly. And I think that there are a lot of other more beautiful ways to protect that area if the issue is saplings that need to grow. So we would very much appreciate if you would look into it and find a much more eco-friendly and friendly on the eyes way to protect that area. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your question. No, so that is a designated wetland. As to the fence, we're going to definitely find out what that is and everything we can do. If we can just have an item just to understand when that fence went up and what the plan is long term. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
I believe they planted about 820 trees in Ashlon Gardens in Trudeau. So it could be related to them trying to prevent people from stepping or crushing those new trees. It could be because of that. That's the only thing I would speculate.
Side, not on all four. So,
All right. The next question is Anat Marciano.
Hi, good evening. Congratulations to all of you. My question relates to the hydro work that's happening right now in Côte Saint-Luc. We got a first notice that there's work on Haywood. I live on 5720 Cavendish in the presidential condos, and it's literally off my building. And I see the work being done. There's tons of work being done. And I also have a family member in Mount Sinai. So I go to visit there also. And it's major work also related to hydro. And I follow up on it because there's no parking. There's nowhere to even enter. And there's, similar to what Judy just said, something very strange is happening because there's major fencing now being built around the big hydro in behind Mount Sinai, and it's wiring connected to fencing, and it's massive and it's huge. And I asked, what is this going? What is this building? Is the hydro still connected? Is this work connected to that work? It is going to connect, but for now it's not, and it's all related to the wiring, and it's the wiring going under, but the fencing is huge. I didn't know if anybody was looking into behind Mount Sinai. It's very hidden. It's not accessible to anybody unless you're going to visit somebody in a hospital. And it's really, really frightening. That's number two. And then we just got a communication today saying that hydro is now on the third site, which is on Marc Chagall, and they're opening some gates there, and they're going to remove some trees and areas. And so I just wanted to know what's going on with hydro.
Thank you. So the hydro work that's happening around Haywood is upgrading the system. That's on Haywood. There's underground systems that need to be upgraded. We've had a lot of power failures, and this is part of that whole system upgrade that hydro is doing in the area. On top of the work behind the Mount Sinai, which used to be called the Hampstead substation, is now going to be called the Côte Saint-Luc substation. It's part of the Saguenay. Stephen, it's called the Saguenay. Saragay. So an upgrade to the whole system and transmission lines is being done. So that's the work that's happening behind Mount Sinai. The vegetation work that's going to be happening behind Marc Chagall, it's regular maintenance work that Hydro-Québec does on a regular basis. We're actually passing a resolution authorizing them to do that work a bit later on. Yeah.
Brandeis and Krieghoff as well. They're going to be trimming some of the trees and bushes under the lines. Eventually, they're going to be removing that line, and that will be basically freed up. So
what do you mean by line? The line by the train station?
So right now in Côte Saint-Luc, there are 16 pylons. So 16 of these high tension power pylons or poles. They'll be reducing from 16 to 9 in the next few years. So the next step is going to be, and I had a meeting with a representative from Hydro about this a few weeks ago, so they'll be trimming some of the trees under the lines because they want to make sure they have easy access. Then they'll be removing some of those pylons in anticipation of the new lines. It's going to take a while, but that's probably why they're trimming some of those trees behind Marc Chagall and again, Brandeis and Krieghoff to eventually remove that section of the line because the the new line will go behind, let's say, behind the snow dump and into, I guess, partly Côte-Neige NEG land and CP territory. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Aubrey Lawfer.
Oh, my penmanship is not good.
I got your name.
I don't have glasses. I live at 5700 Cavendish in the next building of the lady. Do you have any idea why they have to, are they going to do this during the winter, or are they going to leave it as it is? Question one. Question two, we have generators in our building, which we don't get power outages unless Hydro decides to yank the power. Can you tell us when all the work is going to be completed on Haywood? Or Kildare, sorry, on Haywood, sorry.
So I'll defer that question to Stephen. I don't know if you have. Aubrey, I think we're going to have to get back to you on that. I don't have the schedule of works for Hydro-Quebec. I know some of the work is scheduled to finish, I believe, end of December, beginning of January, but I don't have the exact dates. But something we can certainly communicate that with you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, and congratulations to all council. Mazel
Thank you very
tov.
much. Thank you. Saba Irving Itman.
So some people call me Irving, some people Saba Irving, some people call me the Hitman, some people, like Councillor Cohn, call me part of the Sunshine Boys. First of all, what a welcome addition. Mayor, le maire David Torjman, le meilleur maire dans l'Ouest. Okay, the mayor. Okay, and how beautiful it is to see smiling faces for the first time that I'm attending in almost 6 years, because it was an unfriendly situation. So again, Mazel Tov. I'm happy to see the council, most of the ones now with gray hair, I see. So you're joining the Gray Club, Gray Power. And it's so wonderful to see so many young people, generations, that what I call participatory democracy, and to bring up situations, problems, ideas, thinking out of the box. And I come back to the Mr. Mayor that we know who definitely has the expertise and thinks out of the box. So now my son, who's a lawyer, and he says, Daddy, are you telling us the short version or the long version? Okay, so I'm going to try the short version. Since 2021, when we got letters about lead pipes, it's a situation of health and safety, life and death, is the way I see it. And a shudder to the fact that we fed ourselves and our children lead in the water. And my question, I'm trying to get to it, is that whoever I spoke to, my city councilor here, the engineering department, and others, Councillor Lior, nobody knows when they'll be getting to Smart Avenue. 2021, 2022, I have notes here. 2025 in September, Mitch Kujavsky was talking about possible getting a grant from the gas tax, and I see it's on the agenda today. I'm not asking you for miracles. We can't turn a cruise ship on a dime. I'll give you a quarter, okay? If you can possibly get an idea in months to come as to which street and which date, because as a retired businessman, when you have a project, you have a budget naturally, but you can tell people 2026 this street, 2027, 2030 this street. Don't give me answers from everybody, in the next 10 to 15 years. And my final comment is, if one day I want to sell the house, I have to declare that as a latent defect, as a hidden defect. I cannot hide it, and that will affect the price. And it comes back to the council and the mayor, who gave us letters, it's dangerous, don't drink it, don't use it. And then my dear friend Dita tells me, where is she? Oh, there she is.
Hiding in the corner.
Don't forget, I know these people for 33 years. Hiding in the corner, and she says, Irving, we lived this long with my lead, don't worry. Well, my dear, when I spoke to you, I had black hair. Take a look. Okay?
Not as bad as Cavendish 50
Okay,
years
no,
away.
that'll be the next time. You can ask your question, but that'll be my next project. So, Mr. Mayor, thank you so much, and please try to give us a proper, again, I didn't serve, but I lived 59 years in Côte Saint-Luc, 57 as a homeowner, with Mayor Lang, who was an engineer, Mayor Robert Libman, who was an architect, Mayor Anthony Housefather. These were mayors, these were leaders, these gave answers. These are men of action. I consider you a man of action. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Ittman.
Joyeux Noël, bonne année, happy Hanukkah, buon anno, buon Natale a tutti. Okay?
Tutti a tutti.
All the best.
Thank you, Mr. Ittman. So I just want to say for the lead pipe issue, Mr. Ittman, I am collecting the information actively. We're finding out, well, we have the data on certain things. I want to have an action plan. I have ideas as to how we can do it for the benefit of the residents. It's a health and safety issue that I committed to doing in a much shorter time than 10 years. We have to find the money to do it. I also have a plan for that. So we're going to be pushing ahead actively and with innovative thinking. So
We have money for pickleball, we have money for drama. We don't need song and dance people. We need health and safety first. Thank you.
thank you, Mr. Ittman.
Happy Hanukkah. Chag Sameach.
All the best. Mr. Michael Hollander.
Good evening. I come in peace. No, come in peace. Firstly, wanted to thank everybody on the council, obviously the mayor, David Mazeltov. Congratulations to all of you who ran, contested your ridings. I'm sure you're all going to represent our community for the next 4 years in the absolute best way possible. And I wanted to wish all of you congratulations, sincere, heartfelt Mazeltov, Baruch Hashem to all of you. My question had sort of been taking from Saba Irving, actually, inspiration on outside the box. Generally, what are the council's plans for this coming session in terms of quality of life improvements for residents in terms of safety, security, and fighting hate?
Thank you. On safety, I think we're going to build on what's already there. We have a fantastic public security team, great directors, managers. We're going to build on what's there. Now, there's a base there. But what I am going to do, and I'm going to tap into the resources the city has. We have fantastic lawyers and people in security and people that are in the security field, Federation, amongst others, to work with the City of Montreal on pushing them to have the SPVM enforce the laws that we have. We're going to look at laws that the City of Côte Saint-Luc can establish, that the SPVM can then enforce. And we're going to make sure that we push security because our residents deserve to feel safe and secure in Côte Saint-Luc. We have issues at our universities that you're very well aware of and you've done tremendous work on, and we applaud you for that work. So I want to tap into the knowledge base that we have in the city and work with a group. And I have ideas as to how we can gather groups together of, the minds that we have around the table. And bring forward good change, actionable items, not just nice letters, but letters that have, timelines, dollars, and commitments to it.
And meaning.
Exactly.
Amen.
Oh, And Oren, please, Sebastian.
On a related topic, for me, one of the major initiative is to move the public safety station and to have EMS respond faster, better for all our residents that are suffering life-threatening situations. So that's part of the mandate that I've had the past 3 years. I'm happy to see certain aspects of it come to fruition.
Thank you. Sorry, my hearing is off.
Michael Shafter. Hi. Dita Burke, who's here tonight, she's given you all a good education and administration. She has blessed what you will do in the future. Each one of you represent every constituent in Côte Saint-Luc, not just in your district. And I hope that you will have a specific area of concern that we can address to you before a council meeting, so when you come here, you can blow it out of the air appropriately. The subject matter is housing. I'm just going to make a 1-minute statement. You don't have to answer it because I don't know who's supposed to answer it. Please reduce or at minimum maintain previous property taxes and definitely reduce very, very welcome taxes to get your feet in the door in Côte Saint-Luc. I know you need money to operate well, so I offer you this extra agenda. 1, prioritize all contracts to only those absolutely necessary in the upcoming year. Use your mouths collectively in addressing Montreal's beautiful new mayor, Soraya, to severely reduce your highly inflated costs for agglomerated services. Start by promoting a resolution together publicly that there will be no Cavendish extension unless on the flats to Côte-Ferteux, saving Montreal 50 to 100 million in building an underpass or overpass, wasted to get to already congested the carry at Jean Talon. At the same time, film from a CJD helicopter with Rick Lechner on board, the huge undeveloped Hippodrome site, the huge adjacent underutilized CP rail yard, and the overcongested DeCarry Boulevard and its expressway, which could be neutralized with a very appropriate Cavendish extension the way you demand. And if CP Rail does not want to permit passage, request the federal government through our MP Anthony, the father in the house, to expropriate the land necessary for public order and goodwill and demand CP clean up environmental contamination. After more than a century of dumping caustic chemicals, paints, and other pollutants into the ground, and voila, it disappeared. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you, Michael. There's a lot there. And I appreciate all of the comments. It's a much longer discussion. I'm more than happy to have it with you. Cavendish Extension will be moving forward in an appropriate way, in a way that keeps Côte Saint-Luc safe, that's good for Côte Saint-Luc. In terms of taxes, it is our only source of revenue. So there's only so much we can do there, but what we can do is with appropriate development, proper development in Côte Saint-Luc, we can tap into a tax base that we don't currently have. That in turn will help us pay for the projects that we need in Côte Saint-Luc, help us pay for additional security, infrastructure, and help stymie the increased taxes, the tax burden that the residents already have. So.
And the Cavendish extension on the flat, saving the city 50 to 100 million for underpass or overpass.
As an engineer, I will have a critical eye to it, I promise you, but we're going to have to do what's possible. There's a lot of things that just won't be permitted, but we're going to take a look at that. I'm just going to go to the next question. Fernanda Cano. If you want to, sorry, go ahead.
Hi, Mazel Tov to all. And the issue that I would like to bring today is about the guidelines for replacement of trees. Some of the councillors are aware. I've been dealing with these for months and months with urban planning, and in summary, there is certain guidelines when you have to remove a tree, right, and replace a tree, and that are very strict in Côte Saint-Luc. So, and when you live in an area that is full of wires that are not buried, it's very difficult to find a tree that's affordable, right, and it's short enough to not interfere with the wires. There is a program in the island of Montreal called GRAM that subsidizes trees for replacement, and this program is available for several cities and towns in the island, including Côte Saint-Luc. And for months and months, I was trying to get one tree through this program, but the shortest one was 7 meters high, which is equivalent to a 2-story house. So it's too high for at least half of the city has wires that are not buried. So the problem doesn't happen every day, right, that you have to replace a tree, but if you are facing this problem, is very exhausting and draining. I've been spending hours and hours in emails, in phone calls, in all kind of things, or visiting the nurseries to even to try to buy a tree outside of this program, but either it's like almost $1,000 a tree, or you just cannot find, considering so I'm requesting that the city, and it's not clear who makes the decision. I'm trying to find who is the responsible for the decision on the guidelines, if it's the arborist, and the arborist is on public works or urban planning. There is some people in these departments are throwing the ball one to another. And so to have guidelines that are more flexible, that makes sense on the ground, right? Because other cities have guidelines that allow trees that are thinner, right, narrower, the diameter, so they are shorter also. But now it's very, very hard to find, and it's and there is a timeline also, right? Because this program has they are already looking for trees for spring. Mm-hmm. So if a decision has to be made soon. So that's my request.
Thank you very much, Ms. Cano. So yeah, the tree bylaw is something that I'd like to review. There are restrictions within there that don't help our residents. And there are certain issues in certain cases where a tree does need to be removed because it is potentially dangerous or infringing upon other issues like what's happened at your house. It's something we need to look at and review. So it's something I'm committed to doing. I've already started. In terms of the decision, yeah, the arborist makes a decision based on the tree. There is a tree program that I know Councillor Kujawski has already started looking at for the city, so we're going to explore that program as well. We're going to find a way of improving things. I apologize.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes. Okay, but there is one point. If you compare, because last summer I compared the trees that were available for Côte Saint-Luc and for other municipalities, right, like DDO and Beaconsfield, right, and there were shorter trees on the why? Because the diameter that Côte Saint-Luc requires is larger, so you couldn't find the trees, the same trees that were available in Beaconsfield and DDO. So why? Because of the guidelines. So that's the whole point, is to change the requirements, to make more flexible, at least for the part of the city that is with wires.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So we can, okay, so we'll follow up with their department. We're going to get back to you on that. Yeah.
That's Zandy, right? Okay, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
thank you very much. There's one more question from the floor, I believe, Sharon. Yeah. Sharon Friedman.
First of all, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
I'm probably the happiest person around.
I think my mother might be a little bit.
Okay. And you're related to someone who I absolutely adore, and it's my favorite organization, and it's called Kahila. So it's about housing. Okay. I do not expect you to have the answers, but maybe you can listen. I did take my, out of mothballs, my T-shirt that says Cavendish. The rest is not for you. It's Côte de Neige in downtown. Okay. But Cavendish is definitely, I expect you to take the lead. So here are my questions. I want to remind you all promised while you were campaigning that you would deal with Cavendish. Just before the election, Carney promised to give Plant, and I almost had a heart attack, a lot of money for infrastructure to get the hippodrome going, which means if we get the hippodrome going, Cavendish. Are you able to follow up with that promise and see where the money is at? And if you guys can't, I'll wait to hear from you. If not, I will get, and my friends who in higher places will get to Carney's office, because he did promise that publicly. So that's question one. But I don't expect you to have the answer right this minute. Okay? Listen, I've got to give Oren a break. He's been hearing from me for like all 4 years already. Non-stop, and the traffic gets worse and worse. Two, anyone who knows me well knows I'm really an advocate for housing, but seniors cannot move into smaller units out of their homes because they have to pay this unwelcome welcome tax all over again, even if they're going from the 16th floor to the first. It is, I know it's not you guys, but you guys can get together with other municipalities to put pressure and apply to the government to remove this money that really is just a tax grab for a lot of people. So young people can get in because older people won't budge. And that's one thing. This, again, if it could be removed, can possibly open up some housing because we want our people to stay here. Again, it may not be only for you, but perhaps writing to the Minister of Revenue, Champagne, and asking him if he could put some deductions on the interest paid on homes under $1 million, and it can be tax deductible to allow some young families to be able to breathe and to have food in their house. So these are my questions and concerns, and I wish you well, but please, on the Cavendish and the infrastructure money, if somebody could get back to me, and how soon can they start? Thank you so much.
So I can't speak to any promises Carney made during his election, but on the welcome tax, it is a source of revenue for the city. I admit that it can be restrictive on a lot of young and elderly that are trying to move. In terms of Cavendish, we are going to move it forward. We're going to move it forward, like I mentioned earlier, appropriately for Côte Saint-Luc. But in terms of his promise, you'll have to call him because he's not taking my calls. So we can try. So I have two more questions from that were emailed in. One is from Jordan Present. What would be the process to add lights to the street signs at night? When I'm driving home at work, I find it tough to be able to see what street I'm on, which street I need to turn on, since I can't see the street signs in the dark. So just to be clear, he's talking about the street name signs. We had, way back when, a sector in Côte Saint-Luc that did have illuminated signs. Those were since replaced by these new signs that we have across Côte Saint-Luc, uniform signs. They're very nice. We do have an issue with lighting as a general rule across the city that I know engineering has been working on replacing. There are 832 LED LED Cobra lights that have been installed. And then we have those cube lights that are being replaced. I think 79 have been replaced in various areas. So there is work in progress to change the street lights so that overall our safety and security in the streets is improved. The safety of pedestrians, the safety of vehicles, and obviously if we illuminate it better, our street sign, the names will be better illuminated as well. So that's a project that's being undertaken. I did speak to engineering about that today, and we're going to be studying how we can do that again in a better, more efficient and quicker way. The second question I have is from Mitchell White. Mazel tov, Mayor Torgman, on your historic win. However, the mayoral race being so close and our city being so divisive in its political beliefs and support, how can you, as our new mayor, your council, new members and old, and the citizens of Côte Saint-Luc come together despite past affiliations, political beliefs, and govern for all citizens and constituents? We need CSL to strengthen together and not fight amongst one another. Neighbors and all district members must come together now as one community and stand shoulder to shoulder. How do you see yourself tackling this most crucial step to take the city back to its former glory as one of the best places to live on the island of Montreal, and to get the word out to all CSLers of this message and unity initiative? That's a great question. It's, and I appreciate the question. It's something that I've always fought for. I think civil discourse is important. It's fine to disagree. It's okay to have a different opinion. And on this council, you're going to see difference of opinions, but we're going to work together for the city of Côte Saint-Luc, for the residents. That's what we're here for. But we want to use voices that you have as well, to gather your neighbors. I think as a great community, the more we speak to each other, the more we hear each other, the more we listen to each other, even more importantly. Just hearing each other out is so critical in changing perspectives. So that's always been my perspective, my objective, and I'm going to continue doing that as mayor, regardless of past affiliations or anything like that. I think we're all here for the same reason, and we're going to continue working closely together. I look forward to it.
If I might add just briefly.
Please.
Mr. White, not a single councillor here received over 50% of the vote. And what I mean by that is the voter turnout was not 50%. So realistically, we're looking at a city council here that was elected with about 25 to 30%, depending on the rest of their electorate. We're not here, and I can speak with confidence for the entire council, we're not here to represent those who voted for us. We're here to represent the city as a whole. And I know for a fact that a lot of us have different political views. But when it comes to the municipality, I think all of us are very much on the same page about the priorities that we need to get done. And I have a full confidence in this.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Fabian. Is anyone else? No? So that comes to a close for our question period, and we start the meat of the agenda now. So, sure.
I have a very small problem that is easily fixed. Lily Esevich, 6590 Mackle. I have a very small problem that's very easily fixed, and it can be taken care of very, very easily. And I think this being the first meeting of the first council, it would be really nice to have one successful thing happen. I work out at the ACC 2 days a week, and with all the work that's being done, there's very little parking. Particularly on Thursday mornings when the men's club meet. They park, they have no idea. I mean, the parking is ridiculous. I spoke to Mike about it, and I spoke to the guy at the front desk. The front desk threw up his hands and said, they're old, they don't know how to park. That's not an answer. I called security and I asked them to come. I don't know if they did because I went to my class. But I think, particularly on Thursday morning, I don't think anyone should be ticketed, but they should be given warnings to just look at the lines. Because literally, at least 30% of the cars in the parking lot are parked in 2 spots. And it's ridiculous. There's so little parking there now, and it's difficult. And these are times when there are hundreds of men upstairs. There's people doing aerobics. There's people in the swimming pool. You have to have respect for your neighbors. So if we could get security to go there in the mornings just to watch and just to tell the gentleman, park in the lines, or even to come later and just put a warning on the car. Because once you give a warning, you don't have to worry. They're not going to do it again. They'll be more careful. But if they just park haphazardly and the guy at the desk says, oh, there's nothing we can do, they'll just continue doing it and use all the spots. So very small problem. But when I get to my class at 5 to 9 and I have nowhere to park and I have to park on Mackle and then run to get in, it's very frustrating when I see that all the cars are double parked. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lee. I'm going to direct to our city manager, if you can just ask public security just to go on a Thursday specifically. I believe that's the crux of the problem. Maybe just give it a little bit of direction to. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And with that, we move to the next item on the agenda, and that's the approval of the minutes. So minutes of the regular meeting of September 29th, 2025. I have a mover, Mr. Oh, Mike, where's it? Mike's over there, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get my bearings. Mike?
Yes, I so move, Mr. Mayor, that we approve the minutes from the regular meeting of September 29th, 2025.
Lior? All in favor? Thank you. Yep. That's a good question.
You could still vote even if you weren't at the meeting.
All in favor? Passed. I have to keep removing my glasses. So monthly department council reports. Councillor Azrat.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The monthly report submitted for November 2025 be hereby approved as drafted.
Oh, no, it's okay. He did it. Yeah.
Sorry, September. Yeah. It's actually September and October, right? September, October, September. So monthly report submitted for September and October for 2025 be hereby approved as drafted.
Thank you, Councillor Azrad. Do I have a seconder? Mike? Next item on the agenda is fine.
It's sorry. Comments.
Sorry. Comment?
Council comments.
Thank you. So Councillor Cohen.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a few notes. First off, Côte Saint-Luc Cats Committee, right now, they have a big raffle going on. This is our major fundraiser for the year. Got a lot of very good items. You just have to go to the Côte Saint-Luc TNR page on Facebook. It's all there, and you can buy your tickets. A lot of great prizes and great work being done to save all the homeless cats in our group. So thanks to all the volunteers. I want to congratulate Leslie Singerman and Sabrina Kraus. They are the local commerce business of the month. They are Progressive Realties. They have a kiosk at the Côte Saint-Luc Shopping Center, and you could see the photo on our website in our Business of the Month page, and my interview with them on Instagram at Mike Cohen CSL. I'm hearing good things from people living in what used to be the Equinox. It's now called Les Appartements Marc Chagall, on Marc Chagall. It was sold to the company Real Star that also owns the Excelsior right next door. And everyone seems very happy with the new landlord. So thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a brief summary of all the activities of recreation for September and October. Volunteer Appreciation Night welcomed more than 300 city volunteers and guests to Sinistar Cavendish on September 25th for the movie The Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey, along with treats, a photo booths, and lots of fun. So please volunteer for Côte Saint-Luc, and you can come too. The Enchanted Forest was on October 26th. And received approximately 4,500 people. I'm very proud to have inaugurated this event several years ago and that it's still going strong. This year's theme was Alice in Wonderland, and patrons of all ages enjoyed the glow-in-the-dark circus show and interactive game. The Côte Saint-Luc Dramatic Society was busy this fall with the Senior Summer Works production of My Fair Zadie, which was a hoot. And this weekend saw the variety show fundraiser hosted by Jordana Dobsky and Adam Corin. I don't yet know how much money we raised, but that was also, well received. Just a reminder that the Recreation Department is responsible for running more than 1,300 programs, special events, sports, fitness, aquatics, arts, and leisure. These staff organize Plan A, Plan B, Plan C, and really do so much for our city to make sure that Côte Saint-Lucers stay physically and mentally healthy and entertained. It has been my pleasure working with Director Cornelia Ziga and her team for the last 4 years, planning new initiatives, improving existing offers, and problem solving. So I want to thank them for all their hard work. And while I'm offering thanks, it should not go unmentioned that a major thanks go out to more than 70 Côte Saint-Luc volunteers who delivered the yellow voter cards before the election, compensating during the Canada Post strike. And so we are very grateful for all our volunteers in the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Schuster. Councillor Erdely.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll start on the local front in terms of District 4. So just to share with the residents, if you're not aware, so on November 7th, there was a major water main break just outside 7920 Côte Saint-Luc Road. It actually was several breaks on the same line, which caused some flooding. It was patched up temporarily, but they're doing an excavation. Actually, it's already begun. So there's a section of Côte Saint-Luc Road between Westminster and Sunnybrook that is currently closed. It should be done, hoping by end of day Wednesday. So in terms of replacement of a roughly 30-foot section of pipe and eventually, and then being backfilled and so on. But it is causing an inconvenience and nuisance for the district. We recognize that, but hope to have the work done quickly and before the winter, and should be hopefully good as new. Also in the district, I want to mention we did a pilot project at Fletcher Park where we had a portable camera unit there, and we're just kind of getting back into the swing of things, so I'll find out the results of the pilot project. I believe it's now, I think in Councillor Schuster's district, the cameras, but we'll be testing these out to keep our parks and public spaces more secure. In terms of VCOP, and we have some VCOP volunteers in the back, Susan Harvey, thank you. So I'm just going to share, this is actually the last 2 months combined. So this is September and October. We had 416 hours of patrolling, of which was 735 individual hours of volunteer time, and our VCOPs traveled 4,298 kilometers and attended 32 special events over that time. Switching to the finance front, in terms of transfer duties, the city, it's one of those line items in the budget that has sometimes been up and down. There were years where sales were low. This year, we've been lucky in terms of apartment buildings being sold. So in the last few months, we've had actually 2 apartment building complexes that were sold. And based on that single-handedly, we're looking at approximately an $8 million surplus for the end of 2025. And again, largely because of the extra amounts in the transfer duties. And I'll just mention, after the snowstorms we had in February, for those who recall, I was thinking we might end up with a small deficit just with all the extra overtime that was done to deal with those 2 major snowfalls. So assuming snowfall is light for the rest, at least till the end of 2025, and all is good there. Like I said, we're predicting roughly an $8 million surplus, and we'll report more early in 2026 when we get the audited financial statements. I also want to remind everyone in terms of lead, as I do every month, please, for residents who live in a home that may still have lead, and we're doing our best to replace those service lines, there's a rebate for filters. I believe it's the NSF 53. But if you go to the City of Côte Saint-Luc website, you're eligible to get a water filter subsidized by Côte Saint-Luc until we can get to your home and replace your service line. And that's it for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Erdely. Any other comments? No? Hearing none, we'll go to a vote. So mover, Lior, Azarad, Councillor Azarad, and seconder, Councillor Sabag. All in favor? So moved. Moving on to financial information technology services. So the first item we have is the resolution to approve the disbursements for the period of September 20th, 2025 to September 30th, 2025. So we have 2 resolutions for disbursement because there was an election. So usually we do full months, but there was a portion of a month plus a full month of October. So the first one is Councillor Sabag.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That the Côte Saint-Luc City Council approves the attached list of disbursements for the period of September 20th, 2025 to September 30th, 2025 for the total amount of $1,766,547,008 in Canadian funds, that the Treasurer Certificate number 25-0151 dated November 17th, 2025 has been issued by the City Treasurer attesting to the availability of funds to cover the described expenses.
Thank you, Councillor Sabag. And seconder, Mike? Moved by Mike. All in favor? Passed. Thank you. Moving on to 8B, resolution to approve the disbursements for the period October 1 until October 31, 2025. Councillor Erdely.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Be it resolved that Côte Saint-Luc City Council approves the attached list of disbursements for the period of October 1st, 2025 to October 31st, 2025 for a total amount of $14,473,415.14 in Canadian funds, and that Treasurer Certificate number 25-0152 dated November 17, 2025 has been issued by the City Treasurer attesting to the availability of funds to cover the described expenses.
Thank you, Councillor Erdely. Any comments?
Yeah, so I'll share some of this one. September was a lighter month. October was a heavier month. So some of the major items to mention were road repairs or road repaving, which is approximately $4 million. There was work on the ACC, which is part of the renovations that were talked about earlier, purchase of a snow blower, the line painting contract, and a capital bond repayment. Well, actually, a few capital bond repayments totaling about $5.5 million. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Erdely. Seconder? Passed by, all in, sorry, calling for a vote. All in favor? Thank you. Second. Item 8C, order of the council to sell immovables due to non-payment of taxes and/or transfer duties for 2024 fiscal year. and earlier, as well as appointment of an external law firm to conduct the sale of the immovables due to the non-payment of municipal taxes. So this is in case somebody hasn't paid their taxes or their welcome tax, the city can move to sell the property to collect those taxes. I don't think we've ever sold a property, but we do have to have that measure, and that's the resolution. So, Councillor Erdely.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Be it resolved that, subject to sections 511, 512, and 517 of the Cities and Towns Act, that the Côte Saint-Luc City Council orders any attorney at Bélanger Sauvé, SENCL, to sell the immovables contained within the list annex herewith as Annex A due to non-payment of municipal taxes and/or transfer duties for the 2023 fiscal year and earlier at public auction on February 18, 2026 in the council chamber at City Hall.
Thank you, Councillor Erdely. Any comments?
So yeah, I'll just add, when we compare to the previous year, we were at about 120 homes on the list. Just about a week ago, we were at 92. We're now at 75, so the list is shrinking, and hopefully it'll get even shorter by the time it's published. But as the mayor mentioned, in 20 years at least, we have not had to sell a home. However, there's been a few, and Maitre Schechter can attest to this as well. There were a few that were down to the last hour or so in the past. So hopefully they'll be sooner this year. It won't create stress for the city. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Councillor Erdely. And the seconder, Councillor Azarad. All in favor? So moved. 8D, authorization for the city treasurer to bid on behalf of the city for the amount of unpaid arrears corresponding to the unpaid municipal taxes. This just gives the ability to the city treasurer to collect on those taxes. So Councillor Erdely.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Be it resolved that the city treasurer be authorized to bid on behalf of the city for the amount of arrears corresponding to municipal taxes, interest, penalties, and costs at the municipal auction to be held February 18th, 2026 at 2 p.m.
Thank you, Councillor Erdely. Any comment? No. Seconder, Councillor Azarad. All in favor? Moved. Thank you very much. Item 9A. This is the resolution opposing Quebec Bill 2, Law 2, in support of Quebec doctors and medical professions. I think this has made it in the news quite a bit. This is a law that's being proposed by the current provincial government that puts in jeopardy our medical system, our doctors, our family doctors, the ability to really service the patients in our province. And I think it's going down a dangerous path. And I want to thank Councillor Schuster for bringing forward the resolution. And I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Resolution opposing Quebec Bill 2/Law 2 in support of Quebec doctors and medical professionals. I'm going to read the entire resolution. Whereas the National Assembly of Quebec adopted Bill 2, Loi, visant principalement à instaurer la responsabilité collective quant à l'amélioration de l'accès aux services médicaux et assurer la continuité de la présentation de ces services on October 25, 2025, whereas the bill was passed under a closure procedure limiting public debate and consultation with physicians and independent medical federations, whereas the petition 11807 at the Quebec National Assembly with more than 31,000 signatures calls for the immediate repeal of Bill 2, citing concerns that the law imposes unrealistic performance targets, threatens the quality of care, and penalizes physicians, their associations, and academic institutions. Whereas under Bill 2, up to 15% of physicians' remuneration is now tied to the provincial performance targets, such as emergency wait times and surgical output, targets which are outside of physicians' control, with clawbacks if not met. Yet many physicians argue they lack the necessary resources, infrastructure, and capacity to reach those targets safely. Whereas Bill 2 introduces punitive measures, physicians and groups engaging in concerted actions such as collective advocacy or reducing professional or teaching activities in a work to rule may face significant fines of up to $500,000 per day as punitive measures. Whereas medical federations such as the Fédération des médecins spécialistes du Québec, FMSQ, and the Fédération médicale étudiante du Québec have publicly denounced Bill 2 as a violation of physicians' rights and have initiated legal challenges in Quebec's Superior Court, arguing that it infringes on fundamental freedoms, example, association free expression. Whereas the Barreau du Québec has urged the government to remove the most troubling parts of Bill 2 entirely, and has warned that Bill 2 could weaken the rule of law by limiting the ability of organizations, unions, and community groups to speak out or pursue court challenges, thus obstructing democratic rights and public access to justice. Whereas the Canadian Medical Association, CMA, and the College of Physicians of Quebec have both warned that Bill 2 may endanger patient access to care by exacerbating physical burnout, early retirements, or a mass exodus of doctors from the province of Quebec to other provinces, thereby further weakening the already strained healthcare system. Whereas public demonstrations have occurred, including a rally on November 9th, 2025, attended by more than 12,000 doctors, medical students, and supporters at Montreal's Bell Centre, demanding the suspension of Bill 2. Whereas the health authority, Santé Québec, has expressed concern, stating that the law's full implications are not yet well understood by frontline professionals, and that its implementation may risk reducing access to care rather than improving it. Whereas the City of Côte Saint-Luc recognizes that a robust and well-supported medical community is vital to health, safety, and well-being of all its citizens, including vulnerable populations, and that destabilizing the physician workforce risks undermining access to timely, high-quality care. Whereas the City of Côte Saint-Luc includes numerous healthcare facilities such as the Séance West Central Montreal, Mount Sinai Hospital, CLSC René Cassin, Donald Berman Maimonides Geriatric Center, Centre Médical Santé Kildare, Clinique Médicale STEP, Elna Medical, among other medical practices providing vital service to our residents. Whereas, in a letter dated November 9th, 2025, and addressed to Dr. Ariane Murray, Director of the Montreal Department of Family Medicine, and Dr. Lawrence Rosenberg, President and Director General of Séance du Sud-Ouest de l'Île de Montréal, 18 owners and medical directors of family medicine groups, GMFs, including 6 clinics located in Côte Saint-Luc, warn that they may need to close their clinics by April 1st, 2026, impacting more than 400,000 patients as a result of Bill 2. Whereas the City of Côte Saint-Luc prioritizes the health of its residents through initiatives such as Emergency Medical Services EMS, a unique service providing 24/7 volunteer emergency response to assist Quebec's Urgence Santé, as well as other life-saving and health-promoting programs to support residents' medical, physical, and mental health and quality of life. Whereas the City of Côte Saint-Luc has a residency which includes hundreds of doctors and other medical professionals. I have to continue. Okay. That the City of Côte Saint-Luc expresses its strong opposition to Bill 2, Law 2 in its current form, that the City supports the repeal of the law in line with the demands of Petition 11807, that the City stands in solidarity with Quebec's medical professionals, family physicians, specialists, and medical students in protecting their rights, professional autonomy, and capacity to deliver care. That the City calls upon the Government of Quebec to return to the bargaining table with the major medical federations to negotiate a fair and sustainable remuneration model rather than imposing punitive legislation. That the City urges the Quebec government to implement mechanisms such as independent arbitration, as exists in other provinces, to resolve physician compensation disputes. That the City reaffirms its commitment to working collaboratively with all healthcare stakeholders, physicians, nurses, regional health agencies, citizens, to strengthen Quebec's public health system and to promote policies that improve, not undermine, access to care for all residents. That the city requests that its city clerk send a copy of this resolution to the Premier of Quebec, François Legault, the Minister of Health and Social Services, Christian Dubé, all of the members of the National Assembly of Quebec, including the member of the National Assembly for Darcy McGee, to all other municipalities in the Montreal metropolitan community, to the members of Parliament for Mount Royal, to the Prime Minister of Canada, to the Union des Municipalités du Québec, to the Fédération québécoise des municipalités, to the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, the Fédération médicale, as well as to any relevant stakeholders. And I would just like to mention that this resolution was formulated with the collaboration of Dr. Debbie Schwartz and Dr. Michael Palin. Thank you. Mental block. And also that I visited my doctor this morning. It took me 3 weeks to get an appointment, and that was pretty good. And I mentioned this resolution, and my doctor took time with me, unconcerned about limits or remuneration. It's because that's what a doctor is supposed to do. And when I told her about this resolution, she's just smiled from ear to ear and thanked me. And I hope that we can make meaningful change with this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Koosman. This is something that affects absolutely everybody, and I appreciate that the resolution was well drafted, and the doctors that helped, or we have many doctors in our city, thankfully, and it affects, but it's something that affects all of our residents, and I'm looking to organize something in the city of Côte Saint-Luc that will get further attention of our government. I'm sure there's further comments, and Councillor Sabag.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So the conversation, even at the highest level, with that affects us with the CU Centre West, which I'm happy to be a board member of, is the conversation is alarming, and I think this resolution, especially coming from us, and I know we're going to second this unanimously, really shows how important it is to continue making sure that everybody has access to proper health care. And I want to reiterate that level is certainly important, but I want to maybe show everybody how at a granular level it's important to make sure that this bill doesn't pass the way it is right now. In Montreal, there are 7 pediatric neurosurgeons only, and 1 already left. So I think it's very important to note this, and being a nurse myself, I can tell you we see it in clinics all the time, but I'm happy that this council is taking this position. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Sabag. Councillor Kujawski.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So it should be noted, it's already been passed, it's already adopted, it's into law, and it's already having effects. There are doctors who have already left, there are doctors who are already planning to leave. So resolutions are great. All of this is all well and good, but the question is, what can we do? And I suggest that everyone in this room, everyone listening, email your representatives in Quebec. Well, don't email us because we're already on board, but email all of your elected officials at all levels. I've done so, I've signed the petition, because it seems to me that we may be making a little noise, a little chink in the armor, because Quebec has already gone on record as saying for the moment they're not enforcing portions of Bill 2, so we're 1% of the way there. But the more people they hear from, the more political pressure they get, the more likely they are to potentially repeal or say they're not going to enforce other provisions of the bill. So yeah, I always like to hear, what can I do? So that's what you can do. Make noise, speak to your doctors, like I'm sure we've all done, and hopefully it'll help us get somewhere with this.
Thank you, Councillor Kujawski. Councillor Erdogan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. One of the points I was going to mention, Councillor Kajapski mentioned, but I'll share that I had shown the draft resolution to some of the doctors that I work with, and their comment was the exodus has already begun, which was alarming. I'm a patient, and my parents, my wife, my kids are patients at Santé Kildare, which is on Westminster in Côte Saint-Luc, and I worry about the future of Santé Kildare. I worry about the effect on our residents. We have the highest percentage of seniors, one of the highest average ages in the country, and of course, our residents are probably most sensitive. Having two parents in their 80s, I see the need for that first line medical care, whether it be a family doctor, physician. And I hope that, I guess the point I'll share is I hope when this is passed to other cities, we hope we see a domino effect of other cities across the island and the province following suit and also adopting this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Lee. Councillor Cohen.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Regarding Bill 2, a number of us last week were at a meeting with our MNA, Elizabeth Prass, to meet Pablo Rodriguez, the Liberal leader. And, I actually had a hope that night that maybe the Quebec Liberal Party was going to have our back and they were going to deal with this. And the next day they imploded. And it's been embarrassing to watch what's happening to the Quebec Liberal Party. They've wasted a week fighting with each other, kicking Mauro Risky out of the party, Pablo going and making excuses. And I'm sorry, I have to vent on this because they need to get their act in gear because they are our only hope. And what I'd recommend is the Quebec Liberals perhaps take this resolution and get it out there to Lac Saint-Jean, Drummondville, Trois-Rivières, all the regions where they're weak, because every Quebec citizen is going to be affected by Bill 2. And certainly the CAQ is not going to do it, nor is the PQ. So that's my recommendation to Pablo Rodriguez, unless he wants to keep battling it out with Mauro Risky every day in the media. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Cohen. One thing that I'm very happy about is that this council is going to all second this resolution. So do I have a seconder? Unanimously seconded and unanimously approved. Thank you very much. Moving on to human resources at the City of Côte Saint-Luc. So hiring of white-collar auxiliary employees, Parks and Recreation. Councillor Cohen. Yeah. That's yeah.
The hiring of white-collar auxiliary employees whose names are listed on the document titled Auxiliary Employees White Collars Hiring, dated November 10th, 2025, and that said employees' terms of employment will be as per the conditions of the collective agreement that the Treasurer Certificate number 250147, dated November 14th, 2025, has been issued by the City Treasurer, testing the availability of funds to cover the above described expenses. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Cohen. A seconder, Councillor Ben-Izri. All in favor? Moved and passed. So 10B, hiring of 2 part-time auxiliary library technicians. Councillor Cohen.
I so move that the Côte Saint-Luc City Council approves the hiring of Catherine Lewis and Sabrina Cormier as library technicians, auxiliary part-time positions effective October 15, 2025 and November 4th, 2025 respectively. That Treasurer Certificate number 250148, dated November 14th, 2025, has been issued by the City Treasurer, testing the availability of funds to cover the above described expenses.
Thank you, Councillor Cohen. Seconder, Councillor Kujawski. All in favor? Passed. Thank you. 10C, hiring of law student contractual position. Councillor Fabian.
As a fellow law student myself, it gives me great pleasure. I so move that the Côte Saint-Luc City Council approves the hiring of Shoshana Lalouz as a law student of contractual position, effective September 18th, 2025, and that the Treasurer Certificate number 25-0149, dated November 14th, 2025, has been issued by the City Treasurer, attesting to the availability of funds to cover the described expenses.
Thank you. Seconded by Councillor Kujawski. All in favor? Moved. Passed. That's Councillor Fabian's. Yeah, exactly. So hiring of 2 full-time blue-collar auxiliary general laborers. Councillor Fabian.
I so move that the Côte Saint-Luc City Council approves the hiring of Quentin John and Kade Bangura as general laborers, full-time auxiliary blue-collar positions, and that Treasurer's Certificate number 25-0150, dated November 14th, 2025, has been issued to the City Treasurer, attesting to the availability of funds to cover the described expenses.
Thank you, Councillor Fabian. Mover, seconder, Councillor Benizri. All in favor? Passed.
Just a friendly amendment, because I'm looking at the French version of the resolution, which uses the word ratifie. So I would say approves and ratifies the hiring, if we can use that term in English as well when we draft our minutes. That's okay? Perfect.
Thank you, Mr. Schechter. Moving on to 11A, legal services. So resolution to receive the statement of pecuniary interest of Councillor Stephen Erdely. So this is after a councillor and the mayor is elected. They have to declare any interest that they may have that may render them in conflict of interest. And I don't think there are any, but we have to pass these. So, Councillor Sabang.
Merci, Monsieur le maire. Que le conseil municipal de la ville de Côte Saint-Luc déclare officiellement avoir reçu une telle déclaration d'intérêt pécuniaire de la part du conseiller Stephen Erdely et ordonne à la greffière de la ville de déposer ladite déclaration aux archives de la ville et d'envoyer le relevé des élus qui ont déposé leur déclaration au ministère des Affaires municipales et de l'Habitation.
Thank you, Councillor Sabag. Seconded by Councillor Schuster. All in favor? Passed. And now we go on to the resolution to receive the statement of pecuniary interest for Councillor Mike Cohen. So Councillor Schuster.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Be it resolved that Côte Saint-Luc City Council officially declares that such statement of pecuniary interests has been received from Councillor Michael Cohen and instructs the city clerk to deposit same in the archives of the city, as well as to send the official list of those who filed their declaration to the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Habitation.
Thank you, Councillor Schuster. Seconder, Councillor Azarad. Thank you. All in favor? Passed unanimously. 11C, the appointment of Councillor Lear Azarad as Deputy Mayor of the City of Côte Saint-Luc for the period of November 24th, 2025 and up to December 31, 2026. Councillor Cohen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and it's my privilege to move this resolution that Councillor Leor Azarad is and shall be named acting mayor of the City of Côte Saint-Luc effective November 24th, 2025, up to and until December 31st, 2026, inclusively, and further that the aforementioned Councillor Azarad shall have and may exercise the powers of the mayor when the said mayor is absent or unable to perform the duties of his office.
Thank you, Councillor Cohen. Councillor, seconded by Councillor Kujawski. All in favor? Unanimously. Thank you. Congratulations, Councillor Azarad. Thank you. 11D, ratification of the filing of proceedings instituted by the City of Côte Saint-Luc against Promutuelle du Saint-Laurent aux Appalaches, Société Mutuelle d'Assurance Générale, and authorization to settle for an amount of $26,387. So I want to thank our legal team for settling. This was following a lamppost that was hit, and the settlement was reached with the insurance company. Councillor Erdely.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Be it resolved that the preamble of this resolution, including definitions contained therein, shall form an integral part of this resolution as if cited here and after at length. That the Côte Saint-Luc City Council hereby ratifies the filing of proceedings, that the council also hereby accepts and takes note of a settlement regarding the court docket number mentioned below for an amount of $26,387.32, including capital, interest, and costs, recuperating the value of the damages plus interest and special indemnity, and that the city manager or director of legal services or the city's general counsel are hereby authorized to sign any document giving effect to the foregoing.
Thank you, Councillor Erdely. Seconder. All right, Councillor Sabag. All in favor? Moved. Thank you. Item 14, Public Works, awarding of the contract for janitorial services for 2026. This is a contract for cleaning services done by a nonprofit organization that employs people with disabilities. And I'm impressed to say that they are, and I'm happy to say that they are actually quite highly recommended by the staff that working here. They're saying that one of the best cleaning services we've had at the city. So I'm very, very happy about that. Councillor Fabian.
Uh,
14A.
It was moved that the Côte Saint-Luc City Council hereby awards a one-year contract for janitorial services to Axia Services for the period January 1st, 2026 to December 31st, 2026 for the amount of $315,406.42 plus applicable taxes, that a treasurer's certificate will be issued in January 2026 to attest to the availability of funds to cover the above described expenses, that the City General Counsel be hereby authorized to sign a letter of agreement between the parties stating the terms and conditions of the contract.
Thank you, Councillor Fabian. Seconded, Councillor Kujawski. All in favor? Thank you very much, and passed. 14B, awarding of the contract for the purchase of annual flowers for 2026 to make our city so beautiful again. Councillor Fabian.
Il fut résolu que le conseil municipal de la ville de Côte Saint-Luc, par la présente, octroie un contrat pour l'achat des fleurs annuelles pour l'année 2026 à l'ESSER YG, qui son nom incorporé pour une somme n'excédant pas 50 249 et 10 sous plus les taxes applicables. Le certificat du trésorier sera émis en début de l'année 2026 pour attester la disponibilité des fonds pour couvrir les dépenses décrites.
Thank you, Councillor Fabian. Seconded by Councillor Schuster. All in favor? Thank you very much. And passed. Awarding of the, 14C, awarding of the contract for the purchase of a hydraulic grapple loader and trailer. Councillor Benicio.
Merci, Monsieur le maire. Est résolu que le conseil municipal de la ville de Côte Saint-Luc octroie par la présente un contrat à machinerie AM incorporé pour l'achat d'un chargeur grappin hydraulique et remorque pour un montant de 34 100 $ plus les taxes applicables. Que le certificat du trésorier numéro 25-0155 a été émis le 18 novembre 2025 par le trésorier de la ville, attestant de la disponibilité des fonds pour couvrir les dépenses décrites.
Merci, merci, conseiller Benizri. Second départ, conseiller Schuster. Merci beaucoup. Go for a vote. All in favor? And so passed. Apologize. 14D, awarding the contract for the purchase of bituminous products, asphalt. Councillor Erdely.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Be it resolved that the City of Côte Saint-Luc Council hereby awards a contract for the purchase of bituminous product to Construction DJL, Inc. for an estimated amount of $52,395 plus applicable taxes for the period between December 1st, 2025 to November 30th, 2026, and that Treasurer Certificate number 25-0144 was issued by the City Treasurer on November 6, 2025 to attest the availability of funds to cover the described expenses.
Thank you, Councillor Erdely. Councillor Schuster, seconded. All in favor? And passed. Adoption, 14E, adoption of the group tender for road salt for the winter season 2025-2026. So this is where the city goes to tender as a group with the UMQ, is that correct, Mr. Schechter? With Montreal. So we get better pricing for our salt. Councillor Erdely.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Be it resolved that the Côte Saint-Luc City Council hereby awards a contract to Compass Minerals Canada Corporation for the purchase of regular salt for the 2025-26 winter season for the price of $89.42 per metric ton, including delivery, for an estimated quantity of 5,000 metric tons, for a total amount of $447,100 plus applicable taxes. That the council also awards a contract to Celto Distribution, Inc. for the purchase of treated salt for 2025-26 winter season for the price of $124.50 per metric ton, including delivery, for an estimated quantity of 1,000 metric tons, for a total maximum amount of $124,500 plus applicable taxes. That Treasurer Certificate number 25-0143 and 25-0142 have been issued on November 6th by the City Treasurer, attesting to the availability of funds to cover the aforementioned expenses.
Thank you, Councillor Erdely. Seconded by Councillor Denizri. All in favor? Passed. Awarding the contract, again, 14F, awarding the contract for repairs to the pump number 2 at the Cavendish pump station. That's the pump that's in the underpasses. We have pumping stations so that when there's heavy rains, the water is evacuated and we are not stuck in Côte Saint-Luc. And this is part of those systems. So, Councillor Kujawski.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Bless you.
Be it resolved that the Côte Saint-Luc City Council hereby awards a contract to Xylem Inc. for repairs to pump number 2 at Cavendish Pump Station for the amount of $38,856 plus applicable taxes. That Treasurer's Certificate number 25-0154, dated November 19th, 2025, has been issued by the City Treasurer, attesting to the availability of funds to cover the described expenses.
Thank you, Councillor Kujawski. Seconded by Councillor Denizri. All in favor? Unanimously passed. Thank you. 14G, awarding of the contract for the purchase of the garage, of a garage for ice resurfacers. Councillor Azrad.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Be it resolved that the Côte Saint-Luc City Council hereby awards a contract to Catalonia Construction for the purchase of a garage for ice resurfacer for the amount of $35,233 plus applicable taxes. That the Treasurer's Certificate number 25-0156, dated November 19, 2025, has been issued by the City Treasurer, attesting to the availability of funds to cover the described expenses.
Thank you, Councillor Azrad. Seconded by Councillor Cohen. All in favor? Passed unanimously. Thank you. And now moving on to recreation. Awarding of 16A, awarding of the contract for the purchase of safety edge covering for the annex for the pickleball courts. Councillor Azrad.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Be it resolved that the City of Côte Saint-Luc hereby awards a contract for the purchase of a safety edge covering the annex for the pickleball courts to Pickle Roll for an amount not to exceed $35,000 plus applicable taxes. That the Treasurer's Certificate number 25-0153 has been issued by the City Treasurer on November 17, 2025, attesting to the availability of funds to cover the described expenses.
Thank you, Councillor Azrad. Seconded by Councillor Sabag. All in favor? Unanimously approved. Thank you. 16B, approval of the Samuel Moscovich Arena Canteen lease agreement and of the changes to be made to the Aquatic and Community Center Cafe lease. So, Councillor Schuster.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Be it resolved that the Côte Saint-Luc City Council hereby approves the lease agreement with 9222-4237 Quebec Inc., Taza et Pizza, for the operation of the canteen at the Samuel Moscovich Arena for a term of 2 years, commencing January 1st, 2026, and expiring on December 31st, 2030, with 3 optional years. That Council approves the Annex A, outlining the changes to the existing Aquatic and Community Cafe lease. That the City's General Counsel be authorized to negotiate and sign the new lease agreement with 9222-4237 Quebec Inc., Taza et Pizza, for the operation of the canteen at the Samuel Moscovich Arena.
Thank you, Councillor Schuster, and seconded by Councillor Fabian. All in favor? So moved. Thank you. So approved. 14, I'm sorry. Where are we? 17B, I apologize. I apologize, 17A. Thank you very much. 17A, awarding of the contract for the resurfacing of paths in front of the Recreation Department building. Councillor Kujawski.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Be it resolved that the Côte Saint-Luc City Council hereby awards a contract for resurfacing of some of the paths at the entrance of the Recreation Department to Construction Morival Limité for the amount of $39,500 plus applicable taxes, that the described expenses shall be financed from bylaw number 2645, that Treasurer's Certificate number 25-0145 dated November 11th, 2025 has been issued by the City Treasurer attesting to the availability of funds to cover the described expenses.
Thank you, Councillor Kujawski. This is going to make it a little safer for, specifically for seniors in the area, making the paths to the recreation center even safer. Seconded by Councillor Schuster. All in favor? Passed. Thank you very much. 17B, authorization to sign the agreement for the Enabling Accessibility Fund grant. It's a grant that's going to help us renovate the locker rooms at the municipal pool, increasing the accessibility elements of that area. Councillor Sabag.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That the City of Côte Saint-Luc hereby approves the revised agreement for the Enabling Accessibility Fund grant with Employment and Social Development Canada, that Tanya Abramovich, Associate City Manager, Urban Strategy, be authorized to sign this grant agreement and all other related documents on behalf of the city.
Thank you, Councillor Sabag. Seconded by Councillor Fabian. Thank you very much. All in favor? Oh, there's a comment. Yep, absolutely, Councillor Kujawski.
Yes, just to note quickly that this grant is actually going to help pay for the renovations that are ongoing, or the demolition phase has begun in the locker rooms at the on the outdoor pool side. So those of you who have noticed, they've destroyed them and they're going to be modernized. So this is going to pay for part of that renovation that was going to be used for something else, but now it's being used to partly pay for the renovation of the locker rooms at Park Haven Pool.
Thank you, Councillor Kujawski. All in favor? And passed unanimously. Thank you. 17C, approval of the program entitled Programme numéro 1 de la taxe sur l'essence et de la contribution du Québec 2024 à 2028. This is the program that allows us to finance and our infrastructure programs in the city. Conseiller Sidney Benizet.
Merci, Monsieur le maire. Est résolu que la ville s'engage à respecter les modalités du guide qui s'applique à elle, que la ville s'engage à être la seule responsable et à dégager le Canada et le Québec, de même que leurs ministres, hauts fonctionnaires, employés et mandataires, de toute responsabilité quant aux réclamations, exigences, pertes, dommages et coûts de toutes sortes ayant comme fondement une blessure infligée à une personne, le décès de celle-ci, des dommages causés à des biens ou la perte de biens attribuables à un acte délibéré ou négligent découlant directement ou indirectement des investissements réalisés au moyen de l'aide financière obtenue dans le cadre du programme de la TEC 2024-2028. Que la ville approuve le contenu et autorise l'envoi au ministère des Affaires municipales de l'Habitation, de la Programmation et de l'Habitation et de la Programmation de travaux numéro 1 ci-jointe et de tous les autres documents exigés par le ministère en vue de recevoir la contribution gouvernementale qui lui a été confirmée dans une lettre de la ministre des Affaires municipales et de l'Habitation. Que la ville s'engage à déposer annuellement une mise à jour de sa programmation de travaux durant la période du 1er octobre au 15 février inclusivement. Que la ville s'engage à réaliser les investissements autonomes qui lui sont imposés pour l'ensemble des 5 années du programme. Que la ville s'engage à informer le ministère des Affaires municipales et de l'Habitation de toute modification qui sera apportée à la programmation de travaux approuvés par la présente résolue. Que la conseillère générale de la ville ou le trésorier de la ville soient autorisés à signer tout document donnant effet à cette résolution.
Merci, conseiller Benizri. Conseiller Azrad pour un second. Conseiller Kujawski.
Yeah, so in the interest of keeping it light, we should perhaps refer to this as the Saba Irving Tech Grant going forward. This is your tech grant, Irving. Partially paying for road resurfacing.
And All right, and moving to a vote. Yeah, unanimously approved. Moving on to Urban Development, Urban Planning Division, 18A. Resolution to appoint the members of the Planning Advisory Committee. This is the committee that reviews plans and modifications that are being proposed by residents, and that approval system is important to maintain the integrity and the overall vision of Côte Saint-Luc. So moving that to Councillor Sabag.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That the following people be appointed as members of the Planning Advisory Committee of the City of Côte Saint-Luc. Councillor Mitchell Kujawski, returning member and chairperson, 2-year term, November 2025, November 2027. Councillor Andy Schuster, returning member, 2-year term, November 2025, November 2027. Councillor Lior Azarad, returning member, 2-year term, November 2025, November 2027. Residents, Ms. Laura Azule, architect, returning member, 2-year term, November 2025 to November 2027. And Mr. Barry Jaslovich, architect, returning member, 2-year term, November 2025 to November 2027.
Thank you, Councillor Azrad, and seconded by Councillor Benizri. Councillor Sabag, I apologize. Councillor Sabag, seconded by Councillor Benizri. All in favor? Oh, there's a comment for, yeah, absolutely. Councillor Kujawski.
I'll be very brief. It's always a pleasure to serve on PAC, so thank you, Mr. Mayor. And we've got a really great group. Welcome, Lior, to no longer a substitute, but an official voting member of PAC. And welcome back to Laura and Barry. We've got a very good group, and we're excited to move projects forward. Oh, and Andy's, well, it goes without saying. Lior is new, residents are special, Andy is a given. And Councillor Schuster. We truly have like an excellent group and various opinions, and we have great discussions and debates in PAC. And I look forward to moving projects forward as hastily as possible in a thoughtful manner.
And thank you, Councillor Kujawski. It's one thing that I spoke to the now chair of the PAC is that when we start approaching the construction season, we're going to be accelerating and having more meetings to ensure that the residents are better served in a faster way. Sometimes there's changes that are being proposed, and to not have to wait from month to month, they're going to get those comments at a faster rate, which will mean more of a commitment from the councillors sitting on this committee. I don't know if I told you that, but that's going to be a part of it, and it'll allow us to get to council at a faster rate with giving the answers to the residents in a more effective and an efficient way. So looking forward to that. So moved by Councillor Sabag and seconded by Councillor Benizri. All in favor? Passed. Thank you very much. 18B, approval of the servitude request by Hydro-Quebec and Bell Canada on city-owned lot. Councillor Erdely.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Be it resolved that the Côte Saint-Luc City Council hereby approves the signature of the établissement des droits réels de servitude pour des lignes électriques et de télécommunications, établissement des droits réels by the city clerk with Hydro-Quebec and Bell Canada, and that the city clerk be authorized to sign on behalf of the city a notarial deed of servitude incorporating the terms of the aforementioned établissement des droits réels and any other document to give effect to the present resolution.
Thank you, Councillor Erdely, and seconded by Councillor Cohen. All in favor? Passed unanimously. 18C, 18C, D, and E, is that correct, Mr. Schechter? We're going to table, these are notices of motion that we're putting forward. They're all tied, and this is the agglomeration we have an obligation for concordance. Again, this is related to the wetlands that we were referring to previously. There's 3 wetlands in Côte Saint-Luc. One is the Ashkelon Park, which is next to City Hall. The other one is in Trudeau Park, and the other one is in Schuster Park. So those are wetlands that are protected, and we have an obligation to meet the requirements by the City of Montreal. So we're just going to table these, and at a later date, we're going to have a public consultation followed by a tabling of the bylaw. So 18C, bylaw 2217-64 to amend the bylaw number 2217. I will give that to Councillor Kujawski.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I hereby give notice of motion that draft bylaw 2217-64, bylaw to amend zoning bylaw number 2217, for the purpose of harmonization with bylaw RCG 14-02907, amending the Montreal Urban Aglo Land Use and Development Plan, will be presented for adoption. I'll table as well bylaw 2217-64, entitled the same.
And
go to,
there's, yeah,
go
so then we
to,
can go to D now.
Getting there. These are large.
So the next bylaw is also, it's bylaw number 2089-7, to amend subdivision bylaw number 2089.
Normally
Again,
ask
this is the
council early
harmonization.
for a page number. There we go. All right. I hereby give, thank you. I hereby give notice of motion for draft bylaw 2217-64 to amend bylaw 2217 for the purpose of harmonization with bylaw RCG 14-029-07, amending the Montreal Urban Aglo Land Use and Development Plan. I'll table as well draft bylaw number 2217-64, titled the same.
Yeah. And now for the last one is 18E, bylaw number 2593-3 to amend construction bylaw 2593. Again, it's purpose of harmonization.
So I hereby give notice of motion for draft bylaw number 2593-3, entitled bylaw to amend construction bylaw number 2593 of the City of Côte Saint-Luc for the purpose of harmonization with bylaw RCG 14-029-07, amending the Montreal Urban Agglomeration Land Use and Development Plan. I will table as well draft bylaw number 2593-3, entitled the same.
Thank you, Councillor Kujawski, for tabling those. And now we move on to 18.1. It's the Site Planning and Architectural Integration Programs. The residence in question is 6518 Merton. Councillor Kujawski.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
We have,
I'm putting it up. No? There we go. All right. Thank you, Councillor Early. Be it resolved that the Site Planning and Architectural Integration Program showing modifications to the design of a partial second-story addition to the existing detached single-family dwelling on lot 1560754 and prepared by Reum Architecture for the Planning Advisory Committee meeting of October 30th, 2025, be approved according to the provisions of Chapter 14 of Bylaw 2217 of the City of Côte Saint-Luc.
thank you, Councillor Kujawski. Councillor Fabian, this is in your district.
So this is a good example of collaboration with the residents. This was a modification during construction, so the resident worked closely with our urban planning staff to get that approval through quickly, so they didn't have to delay construction for the winter.
Fantastic. So seconded by Councillor Fabian. All in favor? Approved. Thank you very much. 18-2, minor exemptions for 5755, 5757 Cavendish. That's the white building next to City Hall on the corner of Kildare and Cavendish. Councillor Kujawski.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Be it resolved that in accordance with the provisions of bylaw number 2632, the request for a minor exemption regarding the property located at 5755, 5757 Cavendish, lot 1561095, be and is hereby approved, the whole as more amply delineated hereunder. The request is to allow the installation of synthetic grass for a daycare playground in the lateral yard instead of only in the rear yard, and to be located at a minimum distance of 0 meters from the lateral land line instead of the minimum required distance of 0.6 meters from any property line. The whole, notwithstanding the provisions of zoning bylaw number 2217, Article 442 and 443H.
Thank you, Councillor Kujawski, and seconded by Councillor Cohen. It's in your district. Do you want to speak to it?
This is just to allow the daycare Children's Corner to install synthetic grass on their side yard because of an area that doesn't get sun. So yeah, we're okay with a little bit of turf in the city.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. All in favor? Unanimously passed with Councillor Schuster having stepped out. Okay. All right. 19, the stance on issues to be presented at the next Montreal Agglomeration Council. Councillor Sabag.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That the council take the following stance in view of any agglomeration council meetings to be held in December 2025 as follows. To authorize the mayor or his duly authorized replacement to make any decisions he deems necessary and in the best interest of the city of Côte Saint-Luc and its residents regarding the items on the agenda of the agglomeration council meetings to be held in December 2025 based on the information to be presented during those meetings.
Thank you, Councillor Sabag, seconded by Councillor Azarad. Any comments? All in favor? Moved. We are going to be going, I met with the ASM mayors today, and we're going to be meeting with the agglomeration on Thursday night. I've spoken to the new mayor of Montreal, Soraya, and I think we're going to have a good partner to be speaking with. So I'm looking forward to those further discussions and working collaboratively with the city of Montreal. So I'm very, very happy and very eager to get things going with Montreal. Item number 20, awarding of the contract for the demolition and reconstruction work at the public safety station. This is an insurance claim that we have. There was some water damage in the building. Councillor Sabag.
Thank you. And if the mayor would allow me to say a few words after that so people don't have the same reaction Dita just had.
Yeah.
Be it resolved that the City Council hereby awards a contract for the demolition and reconstruction work to 93368728 Quebec Inc. for a total amount of $75,275.81 plus applicable taxes, that the Treasurer Certificate number 250141 dated October 31st, 2025 has been issued by the City Treasurer attesting to the availability of funds to cover described expenses. That the Council authorizes the City Clerk to sign any document giving effect to the foregoing.
Thank you, Councillor Sabag. Any comments?
Yes. I'm sure I'm going to get some emails on this. So the public safety station has had major damage about 7 or 8 months ago. The insurance settlement is still on, well, we're almost there, and they want to make sure that we actually do some of the work related to the damage before giving us the balance of the monies in order to move out while the renovations are being done. So this is only for the renovations around the 3rd, 2nd, and 1st floor, if I recall. Sorry, 2nd, 1st, and basement. And there's a big pole that goes through, and exactly. So we're going to fix that, and we're going to get the money for it. They just want to make sure that we actually do the work. So that's the reason why we had to pass this.
Thank you, Councillor Sabag. Any other comments? Seconded by Councillor Azarad. All in favor? Unanimously approved. Thank you very much. And now we get to our second question period. And I am sure there are going to be some questions. Does anybody have?
Is it on? Okay. I'd like Côte Saint-Luc to do this for every municipality in Quebec. be it resolved that we want Macaroni Carney and Go Go Lago to permit the deduction of interest on mortgages from your income tax. Then, if you raise the taxes on the property, it just won't hurt as much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shafter. All right. Any other?
Point of order,
Just
Mr. Mayor, that second question period, I believe the questions have to do with the agenda at hand.
If we can keep the questions to things that we spoke about today that were on the agenda, I would appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Army Low for 5700 Cavendish. You were talking about minor exemption 18.2. Can you elaborate further on this? Because you said that they want to put grass in the front.
And it's on the side. It's between the two buildings. It's essentially between the building that's on the corner and the Excelsior.
In other words, where the Royal Bank is and the office tower.
It's an apartment, but yes, it'll be between the two buildings. Correct.
Okay, because I was worried about safety because it's a busy thoroughfare. You got buses and cars running there.
No, this is in the back. It's barely visible from the street. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Lawfer. Mr. Ittman. Saba.
Just a few points. Commenting on what Councillor Kajafti said about Law 2 and the Councillor Schuster read out, I have a suggestion that the City of Côte Saint-Luc start an official petition and send it to the residents to fill out, like change.org or something like that, not to put the onus on people, and some people don't know how and what and where, but to put something in an official document and then have people fill it out and get the ball rolling there. Talking about Councillor Andy Schuster, Kola Kavod, unbelievable, too many respect for recreation and the Enchanted Forest. I went there. I'm a kid, okay?
Were you enchanted?
I was enchanted.
That's what matters.
Especially seeing her in that costume, all lit up. But it was amazing. Hundreds of kids and seniors as well, and parents, grandparents, to see the animated performances, the music, the lighting. It was a chilly night, but it was such a beautiful ambiance, and really, too little respect. I didn't mention before, I was going to call him Counselor, Darrell Levine. Again, we're going to call him the star techie. We're keeping everybody alert with all the different notices, etc., and your handling of technical production. Super, really. I don't see any, really, super. The water filters, Councillor Stephen Erdely, as a person home alone, like the movie Home Alone, you know, that $50 rebate is only like a quarter of what I spend on water in 1 year. So imagine the young families that have multiple children, etc. This is only a rebate on our property taxes at $50. It's meaningless. It's meaningless. I don't need a comment. I don't need a comment. Thank you. I don't need a comment.
Well, if I may, point of order. The question was asked to me. I'd like to respond to it.
Well, there was a question there, so go ahead.
So I would say two things. One, the filters, there are different types of filters. I could tell you I use a filter that's in my fridge.
That's what I use. It costs $50.
The cost is about $50. I use that one
twice a year is $100.
So I use it, but I don't know, maybe I'm not following the guidelines, but I replace it once a year, and it lasts me a year. So now we could revisit increasing the subsidy, but I'm saying that's based on the recommended usage that I understood. Thank you.
I have the filter in the fridge, and the red flag comes out to replace it every 6 months. And I have also the filter that's screwed onto a faucet, all right, that's replaceable every 4 months with a red gauge that comes out. So please, I don't know, maybe you come here to drink your water. It's possible too. You know?
To my house and drink the water there as well.
I love you just the same, okay? Seriously speaking, 8C on the agenda, the sale of immovables. Since day one, I've been talking about this. It hurts me to see people having to lose their properties, their homes, and especially in these difficult times. So my question is, it says it's given over to an external law firm, etc. Are there any negotiations? Are there any extenuating circumstances or terms of payment or something? Because it's just a terrible thing for somebody to lose. It could be a misunderstanding. It could be somebody out of town. It could be something. So is there anything being done?
On that question, much of it is people forget, or they just didn't have the check, or it's situations like that. In like Councilor Early mentioned, in 20 years, and even before that, when I was a director, I've never seen one sale go through. So most of the times there's an agreement that's made, sometimes just a recall, and then they realize they have to pay. Unfortunately, some people will just disregard those letters and it drags on to the last moment. This is just a precautionary measure that the city has to take to ensure, we have to collect our taxes. It's an unfortunate reality that people have to pay their taxes.
Right.
But we do need those measures in place. But we haven't sold one property to date.
Okay. Next fast point is to Councillor Jamie Fabian. And I want to say to Councillor Dita Burku, Kola Kavod, all the respect to you for all the years of service. We had our discussions, our differences, and our hugging and whatever, but the respect I give is for you to pass the baton. That's my message. That's my message throughout the years. Passing the baton, and welcome to Councillor Jamie Fabian. You read French beautifully. I don't know about English, but but really, and I will finish by saying I always quote Abraham Lincoln, Mayor Torgman, and by the way, kol hakavod to Vice Mayor here, Mayor in standing. Okay, did you take an extra l'chaim for me? Okay. Abraham Lincoln, government of the people, by the people, for the people. And I'm saying this in earnest, don't forget the people, okay? Because we are the people. You and us and Kol HaKavod, a very well-run meeting, really super.
Thank you.
Happy
Thank you.
Hanukkah and all the best.
Thank you.
May respect.
Thank you very much. And that, okay, so I think we have one last question by Sharon.
I'm still going to bug Dita about Cavendish, but maybe you'll get it done.
We'll do
Just
that
two
offline.
quick things.
Yes.
For the people who you're having problems on that list, is there a possibility, when I was going to City Hall downtown, there was a man by the name of Jean-Louis. He was an elderly man living in a home, modest. He just pleaded for the taxes to be able to be paid interest-free over 3 or 4 times. I even advocated for him, but nobody did anything. But maybe it's something to look at for seniors. If some of those people are seniors, that they could just pay it 3 or 4 times interest-free instead of the 2 times.
There are measures that are taken. There are various measures that are taken. I don't think the Cities and Towns Act allows us to not charge interest, but
correct. Yeah.
So,
but we do. We are extremely good at finding solutions for people who have situations. We haven't had a sale yet, and we are very proactive. We call and we follow up and we find ways.
And while you're going to the agglomeration, God, I have nightmares of going there in the past. Maybe you, while you're asking for Cavendish, could you ask for an extension to Clan Ranald, just so I could get into Walmart without being blocked in traffic on Vizina and the Carry. Look, while we're asking for roads, let's go for it.
We're going to be asking for a lot. And yeah, thank you very much. And so, yeah?
Say move to adjourn. Say move to adjourn.
Yeah. So I need a mover to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Thank you, Councillor Sabag, a seconder. All in favor? And that brings to a close my first council meeting as mayor, and I want to thank everybody for a great meeting. Thank you.